Oh my God, we are in person, y'all.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
Yes. Cheers.
Clink,
Cheers
clink,
to
clink.
season 2 of Grown as Motherfucking Women.
Yes.
Ow. I cannot believe we're in person. We've been talking about this for so long. Of course, when we started the podcast, we were like, yeah, all right, we're going to do this virtually. And everybody saw us. We were looking like, what were it? Hollywood squares and shit.
Yes.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yes.
Wait, hold on. Somebody unmuted. Hold on. It's time for somebody else to talk. And then you guys came up with the great idea of let's doing this in person. So super excited to have Grown as Women in person. And y'all looking real good in y'all fall colors. I see y'all showing up, baby.
And nobody can say I'll be right back and turn the camera off.
No cameras off. No cameras off. No sound issues, right? Like I said, none of that either, right?
What you say, babe?
So excited. So season 2, right? We're in season 2 of Grown as Women.
We're ready.
And so excited because we're streaming everywhere, y'all.
Yes.
Apple, Spotify, Amazon.
Everywhere.
All the places.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
We grown, y'all. We
Yes.
grown. All right. So I think today we said we wanted to talk about some serious shit, bring our element to it. We're talking about soulmates.
Ooh.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
mates,
Yes.
right? Did I sound like So Train?
You did.
Actually, no.
Mates.
Actually, no. No, you didn't. No,
It didn't work?
It didn't.
I'm not Don
No.
Cornelius?
No.
LaNail
No.
Cornelius?
No.
It's not
Okay.
working? Okay.
Don't do it. Thank you, Scorpio.
It gave a little bit?
That's it.
It gave a little bit?
A
Just
little.
bit?
I'm
Just
air.
a little bit.
I'm air. Remember.
Of course, our fire sign got something to say. How we get these two fires sitting next to each other anyway?
Y'all messed up with that.
Ignite each other. Don't be hand clapping. No hand clapping. No hand clapping.
We
All
out
right,
here.
so soulmates. I mean, what we think, right? I think I'll start off in my thought in that oftentimes when people say soulmates, they're generally thinking about like relationships, right? Like this is my soulmate.
Yeah.
This is the person I'm supposed to be with for the rest of my life.
Mm-hmm.
And I think about soulmates probably a little bit more global, right? Like I think about soulmates in friendships.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is my soulmate. This is who I'm supposed to be living this life with.
Yeah.
And not necessarily just a partner to build family, but a partner to build life. Because I think of you guys as my life partners, like we build together. But then I also think about soulmate. What'd you say, Nick?
With benefits? No.
You want this benefit, baby?
Stand by.
benefit for you.
What you
Yes.
Damn boy. I like me a benefit or two though.
Hey, you went-
We're starting early.
I just
Okay,
wanna watch.
I
just wanna
digress.
watch.
I said we could go to Taboo tonight.
Oh my God. Oh my God. They're not sponsored.
I heard a snap. That would be your soundbite.
Soundbite.
That would be your soundbite.
But I also wonder, like, when people generally talk about soulmates, they talk about it as if it's this lifelong kind of thing. And while our souls are attached to a lifetime and more than a lifetime, right? Like, because in certain religions, your soul reincarnates in different physical forms, right? Like, in your soul, even if you don't believe in reincarnation, your soul stands out in ancestral realms and things like that. So, like, soulmate is more than just right now in the flesh, what we can see. So I also wonder, like, why do people keep thinking about soulmates as one person and generally soulmates as one partner, like marriage partner? And can your soulmate change? Like, as you change in different phases of your life, doesn't your soul have evolution and don't you get to connect with other people in that way? It's like, what is a soulmate?
But
and what's
I-
your position on soulmates?
Yeah, I guess it depends, right? Because when you think about it, it's a different definition. Like for me, what is the feeling? Which could be your good girlfriends or it could be an intimate partner. Like soulmate to me is someone that my body hurts if I can't be with you.
Hurts or like yearns?
Well, it's both. It depends, right? Because there could be moments of distance and we talk about love languages and what's your love language. And, you know, for me with being touched, it will feel like something's missing without this person, right? If I don't have access with this person being in my life in this role, something doesn't feel right. Like, and hurting could be if it's a broken relationship or maybe you're no longer together, but you're like, there's still something that I cannot let go of. It's that intangible, unspoken feeling where you're like, 10 years later, Soundbite. 10 years later. For those that know.
For those that know.
If you know, you know.
Yeah, you
Why
just
you teasing the folks though?
He likes to be, who said mysterious? Wasn't that one?
That's one of your words.
Mysterious. No, but it is. But soulmate. But to your point, it could change though, right? But it's hard to kind of conceptualize that because 10 years later, if there was someone that was in my life before, I'm a different person than I was 10 years ago.
True.
But I'm still having this feeling I can't explain. Like this is what you said earlier, my person.
But your soulmate is consistent.
But for me, it was consistent, and they evolved also.
Yeah.
Because I think a soulmate is your foil, right? A soulmate is a foil. They reflect something back to you. So your soulmate is going to be consistent over time. That doesn't mean you don't evolve away from that person, but like Nikki says, that person is still this constant, right? If you have come across a true soulmate, that person is going to leave a mark on you. Yeah. They're going to leave a mark on you because they've reflected something in your own soul. That does not mean you are going to be with your soulmate.
Yes.
That does not mean you are going to be with your soulmate forever.
But to Nikki's point, if you're not with your soulmate, but you're yearning them, then does that mean that you are constantly feeling a deficit if you're not with your soulmate?
I was.
Sure, because you can, but hold on, guys. When you think about your soul, you have multiple facets. So you have multiple soulmates. So somebody might be a soulmate in my professional realm. Somebody might be a soulmate in my personal realm. Somebody might be a friend. Somebody might be an intimate partner.
Why you tap me?
Again, because if you know, 10 years. Right. But, and again, you all know my philosophy on, there's not one mate you have forever and ever, amen. Yeah. Like, right? So because your soul has multiple facets. So that means multiple people.
Yeah.
I also think, sorry, Jay, I also think that sometimes we're not in a position where we know what our soul is craving, what we know what we're connected to.
Come on, awareness.
Like, cells are drawn together, people are drawn together, and you may not know what that is at that point, but then you learn, you evolve, you start to walk in who you are and learn who you are, and then you realize why there's a connection. I think we may meet people 10 years ago, but we're not fully actualized as ourselves yet.
Yes, we weren't ready. Maybe you're not ready. Right. You're not ready.
I think so.
Yeah. I to Ayana's point, I do believe that you can have multiple soulmates, and I don't think that you necessarily have to be with them or have to have them with you all the time. But if you are fortunate enough to realize that you have these soulmates, you can always reach out to them. You can, when you need them, or, you may have this understanding with each other. You are each other's soulmates, possibly, right? And so it's like when I get to this point, I need you. And so I'm going to reach out. Maybe I thought I wanted to be with you, but you're a soulmate, right? Yeah, but right. So you just reach out, and you guys have this understanding. Yep. And a lot of times when you're connected to someone, they're already waiting. Like you're on the same wave.
Yes.
It's the connection. Yeah.
So what happens when your soul?
I know where this is going.
Come on, should I not? Ooh, Lord. I ain't going in person with y'all no more. This is the last time we in person. I can't do it. What happens when you and your soulmate are in different circumstances and the people that are around you don't understand your connection, right? Like, so, because what I'm thinking is that could end up looking like cheating, right? Like the moment that you say, I'm yearning for something. I love my partner who I'm with, but I'm yearning for something in this moment. And it's only a moment, right? And if I reach out to this person, it's going to look like emotional cheating, right? It don't even have to be physical, because you don't always have to be physical with your soulmate, because the soul is not physical. So you don't have to be physical, right? But how do you navigate that? And when does the conversation with your other soulmates happen so that nobody feels slighted? I guess what I'm saying, if I put it in more tangible terms, is how do you navigate being around or in vicinity of your soulmate and it not causing complications for other relationships.
Does it? I mean, can it not cause complications, aware or unaware? Like maybe within yourself, you might start feeling complications because it's different. Because for me to call someone my soulmate, even though my soul is multifaceted, that individual speaks to the majority of all of those facets.
So you got a problem, is what it sounds like.
Yeah, no, I got a problem. I have a problem. And I've been in that situation.
Yeah.
And it's a problem where I've said, do not leave me. Because you just, no matter how mature you are, so what can help is your love and respect for the other person, right? It's where the adult ninja, not baby ninja.
Here we go with the ninja again.
The adult in you is like
that baby ninja was showing up a lot recently though.
Yes.
Baby ninja was out with
it's Libra
with
season.
a sword. Yes, it is Libra
season. Baby
Bless
ninja.
us all.
Okay, we survived with a warm rag.
But Nick, I think the spirit knows.
Yeah,
Spirit
it
knows.
does.
The spirit always knows you can be in a room with somebody who you're trying not to have that connection with, but the spirit knows whether that's your partner or your soulmate. They know. They come to you and they say, well, what's going on here? You know that conversation. I saw y'all exchange looks because the spirit knows.
And we're saying it right now in terms of like intimacy in like a partnership, like a building partnership kind of level. But I have definitely, you guys have been in relationships where I've dated someone and they were what essentially became what we put in like human terms, like this jealous of, right? Like they're jealous of a friendship. Has that not happened many times with me and Yanni, me and Jay? And the person I was dating at the time is like, what's going on with y'all friendship? What is this about? Yada, yada, yada. And it's like, but these are my people. And we knew it to be true because where they at, right? And who here today?
Bye.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yes, bye. So, but they, even in your, it goes beyond this idea of like, your intimate, intimate partner and into your friendships. Or like you said, at work, people have like these things that become complicated, these work husbands, these work wives, these work side pieces. I mean, I don't know what's going on the side. You know what I'm saying? No, not me. Not me.
I might have a work side.
But even
I need to think about
even
that.
in
Big booty Judy.
Even in friendships, you can feel a shift in a place or a category where you thought you were feeling for that individual. Again, the spirit knows. You feel that even in a friendship relationship.
Yeah.
So I don't think there is a difference between a sexual partner and a friendship.
Yeah.
I think so of course, if you're in a committed relationship, that always could make it complicated. Right? But then that's another topic would be insecurities, right? And the communication between you and your partner. How well do you all actually mesh? How can you all talk about these things and, be real about these things? So what is your connection with your actual partner? So that's something to look at.
So does that mean that we should have conversations about soulmates when we're dating or when we're developing new friendships?
I think you should.
Should we be that explicit?
That's a vulnerability.
If that's
too,
your intent
to have
in the
that.
friendship, sometimes we have people that are friends who are, what do we call them? Well, not a season.
Social
but
friends.
they're social friends.
Yeah.
Social friends.
Well, I think when you're talking about soulmates, though, if this person is already in your life and you embark on a new relationship or whatever, I think that should be brought up, or that person should be introduced in some sort of conversation. You should, marinate this person into
marinate. Make me some curry
bring them
chicken.
in because then out of the blue, when you're like, Boo Boo said, whatever, and then it's like, well, why'd you tell Boo Boo that? And
it's Boo Boo.
It's Boo Boo, right? So now it's like, well, who's Boo Boo? And now you got a whole situation. So,
I don't even want us to call it Boo Boo.
I know. That was like the first thing. That was the first name that came to mind without me calling an actual name, because I know y'all people,
Boo Boo the fool.
right?
I'm not Boo Boo the fool.
Right, that part.
But can we take a step back?
Yeah.
Because we were talking about this in going to extend it to how do you choose your partner, we need to think about who are we choosing that would not accept that there are certain things in a relationship to be true.
Soundbite.
Soundbite. That was
soundbite, right? So I'm not saying that people are not without insecurity. I have insecurities, but there are times when I have to pull myself back and be like, that is that person's XYZ. Okay. That their relationship truly doesn't have anything to do with my relationship with that person. So that's where you have to have a level of maturity that we're all in this room. We're not in our 20s, you know, like
Wait,
we
I'm
got
not?
into the, no, you're not, sorry.
I thought I was 27.
No. You're 24 in reverse.
No, that was good.
I mean,
I actually like it.
Yeah, 24 in reverse.
I like it.
But you come to this certain understanding that you cannot be your partner's everything.
Correct.
And your partner
has to understand that you're not my everything. I'm not your everything. You're going to have your boo-boo who is going to relate to you about things that I could care less about. And I'm going to come to the Grown Ass Women podcast because I have friends that are going to relate on nothing you care about. And you have to be okay with that. And it's okay to be jealous because that's a human emotion, but you can't let it affect the relationship. Go be jealous, go pout, talk to your friends, go to the winery and be mad, and then go home and act like an adult. And get a warm rag. And act like an adult.
Soundbite.
Get a warm rag, ladies.
And I think that goes into the friendships too, right? Like, because again, we keep anchoring this where I think a lot of folks do, which is in these sexual, intimate relationships. But it goes into friendships too when you introduce a new friend to the dynamic, right? Like, or you introduce a new friendship to the dynamic, like, what does this person bring into the set that I don't bring? Or, you know, things like that. And I guess that's that intersection of soul and human, right? Because we are both spirit and flesh. And so at different times it intersects and we find ourselves in these particular emotions. If we could take it back to friendship though, before we go into the sexual, intimate partnership, and I keep saying that sexual, intimate partnership, because I do think sexual. How did I sound?
You're amazing.
Okay.
It was good. That was good.
Sexual.
You got it the first
I got
time.
it. It was done.
One and done, friend. One and done. One and done. We're good.
But I keep distinguishing because I do believe that true friendships have a level of intimacy that's not often articulated and described. And there becomes that foundation of that soulmate connection. Like, if you keep finding yourself in a healthy way, right? Because we have traumatic attachments too. But if you keep finding yourself attracted in a healthy way to these friends, then there's something there too, right? Like where you care about this person more than the average person, right? Like, let's talk about soulmates and friendship for a few minutes. Like, again, we know how everybody else thinks about it. But in our friend group, soulmates in friendship, like, what is that?
So some of it is level of effort, right? Like level of effort. Because if you believe someone is your soulmate, you believe they are meant to be in your life for the rest of your life. You are someone that is supposed to be present.
Is it for the rest of your life?
If that's how you feel about that person at the time, right? Because a lot of times it's not always present in the beginning that someone is a season or a session, right? So I think the intent initially is to have this lasting relationship until circumstances or events make you see otherwise. So, you know, initially going in, that's the thought process, right? But that's where you really know if it's your soulmate. Am I going to fight for this? If it gets rough, am I going to be present? If there comes a time where their needs exceed mine, am I going to put them first? To what extent am I going to put them first? Like, if there's a thought process around you're in need and you need something and I have to think about it, are you really a soulmate? When it's more of, if it's just selfish, and I don't mean need as if you need a ride to the store and I want to take a nap. Not that type of need. I mean, the need of there's trauma, or you are just really in distress and there is no excuse why I can't be present, but I'm just choosing not to. Then that's no. But if this is a person where like drop of a dime, I'm there.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna
So-
pick up, I'm there.
I'm going to disagree. I think of soulmates as when you are divinely aligned and connected with someone.
Mhm.
I hear you saying, giving of time. I would do that for any person I consider my true friend.
Mhm.
But I think your soulmates, for me, there's a time where you intersect because your lives are aligned, because what you're going through is aligned, and they naturally can contribute to whatever is happening into your life because of something they've experienced or something they're going through at the same time. And there's just natural drawing and connection to the other person versus you're going through something and I'm going to stand and be there for you and be in that place and support you. I'm doing that for any friend. But that soulmate, something about the divine timing is just connecting us at that moment.
But would that be could that person then that would support that soulmates can change?
Yes.
Right? And that would support that they can change because then that, and I'm just saying season for lack of another phrase, that season of, those, that would be the moment of combining, which also ties into where we go into relationships thinking that they're lasting, but something could change.
Yeah.
Mates, not mate.
Mates.
Yeah.
What was the term? Mates? I mean,
Mates, not mate.
it could. Well, okay.
Yeah.
But I think what's important about that and what how you know you have a true soulmate is you want that person to be happy. So when your season is over, it's not over with a whole lot of drama
True.
and scrapping in the club and throwing drinks. Right? It's just our
What?
time
Like a
has
little
moved on. Like our lives have moved on, And I think that's also how you know you have a true soulmate when it comes to friendship is that you just want to see that person happy, whatever that means.
Yes.
And if that means that's not with
Over
you,
there.
like
there.
you're still, that means they're over there, you're still happy about
That,
it.
but is that the real part of it? Because if we talk about soulmates being a mirror or a foil, then sometimes the soulmates bring out something negative too. They bring out something that is contentious and that we have to figure out and work on. Like, not to say that we want the demise of our soulmate, right? Like, destroy, die, boom, right? Like, we're not saying that, but like, is it always like this beautiful, what's the word I'm thinking? Like, what is it called when y'all know what I'm saying? Like this beautiful
Reflection.
I'm sorry.
Friend, keep going.
Yeah,
I'm like, keep going.
I want to hear the word.
I'm trying to figure the word out. I'm gonna come back to it.
So I think that I actually think soulmates are forever. Even if your season changes and you may not be as close or as connected, I think there's always something that connects you.
Yeah.
That's
I
those
agree.
kind of friendships that when you
I agree
say,
with.
no matter how much time has passed,
Correct.
when we get in the space
Correct.
together,
Right.
it's,
You would
it's
never
just
know.
like whatever.
Yes.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
I do
agree.
think even
I
if
do agree.
even if you add soulmates to your Rolodex or whatever,
But how big is your
Don't have a
Rolodex?
Rolodex.
I was going to say a Rolodex.
You got a little black book of soulmates.
where did I even get Rolodex from? Like, how did I even think of that
Tuesday
word? When was the last
soulmate.
time somebody had a Rolodex?
Because we're grown ass women.
Wow.
Exactly.
Yikes.
I had a
Still have
visual.
age.
I had a
Yikes.
visual with the little cards you pull out and write and put it back in.
But yeah, I really do believe that soulmates last forever. There's always some connection, and when needed, you or they will reach out some way.
That's right.
Even if it's like, oh, we always watch the moon or something. And then I go outside and it's a full moon or something on this day that I need you or something. I feel that connection. Even if we don't verbalize it, generally you feel something comes about that lets you know that person is there, or I'm thinking about you or whatever. And then generally the universe puts you together some way,
right.
somehow.
Exactly.
Right.
So I believe it's forever.
But I do want to go back to what LaNail said, because I think there is importance in understanding that we're talking about soulmates in the positive, but for every light, there is a shadow. So
Balance.
Says our Scorpio.
Balance.
Yes,
balance.
Libra, Scorpio, October,
Balance.
our birthday is
Balance.
October.
What y'all call over?
Yeah, OVO,
that
October's
what it
very own.
Drake said
Yeah,
so.
my birthday. Drake and I have the same birthday. We're birthday twins. Whatever.
Oh, okay.
He corny, I'm corny. Soundbite. We're gonna be corny together. But for all the darkness, they're all the light. There is that darkness. So of course you are going to have soulmates that bring out the worst in you.
Oh, yeah.
That bring out the darkness, that bring out the toxicity
God.
because they are reflecting that back. And
Yeah.
sometimes you need that soulmate to be like, and you be like, I don't
yeah,
want to be
I
like
mean,
that.
a
Yeah.
soulmate is a risk.
How do you navigate that when that
Therapy.
soulmate is bringing out the toxic forms of yourself, which
Therapy.
is really could really be a matter of purification, right? Like you gotta get out the illness and the
Yeah.
nastiness and the infection in order for you to heal, right?
Right.
Therapy.
Right. Yeah.
Yes,
But
therapy.
you're drawn to them and you're connected to them.
And I
Yeah.
think that's what people get caught up on when they're
Yeah,
talking
you are
about
drawn
when
to
folks
that
talk about soulmates
toxicity.
too, because they're like, I just need this person, but that person is the
that's
person you end up
dangerous.
throwing glasses at and
Yeah.
telephones. I mean,
Well, it's
you know,
because
because they exhibit your
Let's
toxic traits.
slashing tires, busting out windows.
key in cars. And
I don't know what you guys are talking
No,
about,
of course you don't.
but
Of course
it's
you
but
don't.
it's in no pun intended. It is the balance because
Of course it
actually
is.
no
Come on,
actually
Libra.
actually knowing and feeling and experiencing and accepting that someone is your soulmate and accepting that relationship is a risk because of that dark side. Because for just as happy as I can be, that's just as sad that I can be as well. Like I can feel like I'm on cloud 9, but then the downside of that, if there's a moment where I feel as though I won't have this connection that I've never had before that is so fulfilling and so satisfying, it's like a drug. It's almost like it can be like an addiction.
Sounds toxic to me.
It is
Yeah.
toxic.
Correct.
That's what I was just about to say.
Correct.
And that becomes a question. How do you navigate
Therapy.
the shot? Yes, therapy.
Like-
Onyx Therapy Group is
There you
here. We
go.
are here to support
Soundbite.
sponsorship. I don't know.
Soundbite.
Plug.
Beep, beep,
Onyx
beep.
Therapy. Hello, folks.
Let us help you. Right.
But I'm also thinking about that dark side, that shadow, that draw that you have, that connection, and how do you actually navigate that, right? Because we have a whole bunch of people that come to therapy and they're like, this is my person, but they're not labeling how they're their person. Sometimes we need that person to purify us, and then we take it too far, right? Like that person has, maybe that's not the soulmate.
That's it.
Maybe
I was
that's not
thinking it.
the
That's
soulmate.
it. That is the person to purify you for
That
the
is your-
soulmate.
That's
that
a
is the
different purpose.
preparation.
And that's your fight. No, you don't think so. You think that we have some soulmates that are
Toxic.
Absolutely. Absolutely. If you look into
no, I don't want to believe that.
IFA
But
and
don't you attract-
spirituality, you have
Huh?
to do the shadow work,
You
which
have to?
therapy.
Yeah.
You have to do your own shadow work. Like you have to look at what are your darknesses and your shadows and what are they going to be attracted to. And that person might reflect that back in you. That goes back to why I don't think you are supposed to be with everyone. I mean, there are a billion people on earth.
Right.
Of course, you are going to have more than one,
Right.
soulmate.
I hate that when people
That
are
doesn't
like,
mean-
I grew up in this town and this is my soulmate. You ain't never left that town.
Right,
You don't even
exactly.
know what
Like,
else
can you
is
get on an
there.
airplane? You might be surprised.
But Yanni,
you're not going to always be with them. You're not always going to have you might connect with them. I like what Dee said. You might be somewhere and you look at them and you're like, there's something that connects you, but that doesn't mean you have to interact. That doesn't mean you have to be a part of. You could be snorting coke at a party.
Wait, hold on.
Not that I've done that. But you look up and see, but look up and see someone snorting coke, and you're like, "Oh, I don't want to do that." Like it can reflect something
Among other
negative
things.
that you want to change.
But as a mate for your soul, or just an experience that you have in that moment, I guess
your
I'm still
maybe a
struggling.
lesson
But your
for your
soul
soul.
is
still-
different from your
sorry.
flesh.
I'm still
Yeah.
struggling with this idea that a soulmate could be toxic, and then you go through therapy, you do your shadow work, you acknowledge your spiritual life, and you build that up. Is that person still a soulmate? Like, because what are
Yeah.
you still
Do
attracted?
we know all of our soulmates?
I would.
There are a billion people. Billions.
Take
I
a
got one.
symbol.
I got one right now.
Maybe
They're
it's
in
the person
Japan.
that speaks to
Oh,
your
Lord.
I do. I don't know
you
what
don't
they eat.
know.
I don't
Like
know who
you
they
don't
are.
know.
I would keep it simple
Last
and look
call.
at the word mate. What are we looking for in a mate? Is it that complementary piece that we do not have? Then if we're with someone who is reflecting back our darkness, that's not your mate. That's a reflection of you, the foil.
what you attract.
And you may be attracted to it, but maybe that's not your mate.
That's your lesson.
Because that would also mean that as you continue to redefine and get stronger in your light, they are also getting stronger in their dark in order for them to mate you, right? Like that, I don't, that seems a little contradictory to what I personally think that our purpose is on the earth, right?
Yeah.
Like if we were to bring light, I do think that some people are the fire in us that purify us. I don't know if I would consider them a soulmate.
And I think that you're, drawn to your darkness, but is it your mate? I truly believe that I am drawn to all the toxic shit, sorry y'all, that I have in other people. I see it and I'm like, oh yeah, I be feeling like that. Yeah, girl, yeah. Or yeah, okay. But that's not what I need in a mate. It's not what I need.
Yeah. Well, sometimes I think when you get with the toxic mate, you see, well, if you all are similar, then you all can show each other the toxicity within, right?
The purification.
Right? So
Yeah,
so now we're teaching each other. Like, I'm telling you about yourself, and then you're like, you're the same person.
Right, but that's
you know,
that's
but I don't
too.
like that.
Right.
So now it causes you to think about yourself like, okay, well, is this me? Because some people bring out things or show you things about yourself that you never knew because you may have been around people that have never called you out on these things.
Yeah.
Right.
So, you know, I think at that point, if you all can come together and mutually agree that you both have some issues, and we need to do something about this.
Yeah.
But now this could grow into something. Now, if it continues to go on and you're just badgering each other or whatever, then it
Does
maybe
that mean
you
that
need to
one
get out.
person is more aware than the other person?
I think sometimes it is.
And my direct question
and what is the burden on the person that's more aware?
And how do you obtain that awareness?
Well, that's the beauty of this
Therapy.
the experiences.
See what I did there, Nikki?
I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you.
I think overall, some people are just more in tune, period.
Yeah,
Just
some
period.
people are
And not
intuitive.
necessarily
That's true.
in tune with yourself, you know, solely, but just in tune, period.
Yeah.
Just,
That's
you
the
know, can
beauty
step
of-
outside yourself and see things around. So sometimes you're able to see, you know, you're able to see yourself and the other person.
Yeah.
And so if the other person is not the same in that way, you know,
You'll
can't
see
see themselves, then it becomes difficult, right?
Yeah.
Because now this toxic person is trying to tell another toxic person about themselves, you know? So now it's like, now it's about trust too.
Yeah.
Do I trust what you're saying?
Yeah.
You know, because I hate you right now. Like,
But
I mean, that's real though. I mean, that could be a whole nother podcast
Yeah.
about hate as a true emotion in relationships. And people are trying to avoid hate all the time. Never mind. It's not the time.
So
right?
yeah,
It's not
next
the time.
podcast. But that's
guys.
the beauty of life experiences, right? I think that's the beauty of where we are in life right now is that the expectation is for you to be more aware of what your pros and cons are within yourself. Right? The expectation, right? And it is an expectation, which is a whole nother discussion. It's like realistic versus unrealistic. But it's the expectation that you know what your demons are. You know what your triggers are if you don't go to therapy. But you know that. So when you're choosing your partner and you start to get to know them and these flaws come out or red flags, you know if that's a red flag that's going to trigger your demons or baby ninjas or a red flag that you're like, okay, we can work through this. And it's that, right? It's going through that. So when you're making those choices, because we talked about choosing, how do you choose your mate? Because no one's perfect. Because your soulmate's not going to be perfect either. I don't believe that my soulmate should be toxic for me. I think that this stage in life, you should have learned enough to kind of understand when you're going down that path. And then you have friends. that say, baby ninja, go to bed.
Mm-hmm.
Right, go to bed, go to sleep.
Don't send the email.
Yes, don't send the email.
Don't send the email.
Don't send the email.
Don't send
the
that
text message.
Hold on, let's come up with a script for the conversation.
Calm down, Twitter fingers.
Right.
Calm down, Twitter fingers.
I think the government should just mandate therapy.
Yeah,
Please.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Please.
Soundbite.
They're
Look,
Starting from the
soundbite.
top.
Of course.
Starting from
I was
the
gonna say
top.
starting
Yeah,
from the
please.
top.
Starting from the
Yes.
top. You
Oh my
should.
God. Yes.
But can we go back to something D said?
We can
'Cause
go
I
back
think
wherever
this
you want to
is-
go.
Oh,
Just
Lord.
go to the back.
Come on,
Go to the back.
I'd like to go to Taboo.
Not a sponsor.
We're back here again, not a sponsor.
Sponsored by Lifestyles by Taboo. But Dee said something I think is really important and is making me think further. Like, how do we define the word soulmate?
Yeah.
Because if you look at the word mate, it sounds like somebody you would like to have in your life,
Mhm.
right? Which means that, okay, maybe we need to call it a soul connection. Like, there are different ways, but what does that mate part really
That's
speak
different.
to?
Yeah.
Yeah, soul connection versus soulmate. Those are different.
Those are different.
Soulmate for me is intimate. Soul connections would be my friends.
Well, anything
Right.
that has to do with the soul is intimate.
Well,
Yeah.
physically, sexually,
right.
Sexually intimate.
When I hear the word mate, it tags something very different.
Yeah.
The mate takes you through life. The connection may be for a moment. That's what
Yeah,
I'm thinking.
yeah,
initially.
like
the mate,
a mate-
takes you through life.
Yeah,
whereas a
the
connection may
is
be for a
temporary.
moment.
Yeah, it depends on how you define it. Perspective.
But then that means
Namaste.
that if the connection takes you through a moment, there's points where you disconnect, but you can never disconnect from the soul. So they connect. Does that make
Well, define
very
disconnect. Are you just quiet? Or so there's an emotional disconnect and a mental disconnect, right?
But there's still a disconnect.
Yeah.
So I wonder if connection is the right word. Maybe there's just the soul alignment.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
I mean, I think about that term, and I don't know that term extremely well, but like your twin flame, like there's lots of different terms of it.
Yeah.
I think we can talk about semantics all day of what to call folks, but I think that if we're talking about soulmates, that's what Dee said that made me go, because a mate is somebody you do want to have in your life. And so if you have that connection with someone and it's toxic, you know, how are you thinking about that person?
That goes back to what I'm thinking, in that you don't have soulmates that are negative. Then you have people who highlight a trait in yourself that needs to be purified, but you don't necessarily have a soulmate that is toxic. So you do.
I think you can have some toxic
What
moments.
you know what's popping up in my mind? My transparently, my wonderful, beautiful, handsome baby father. I do think that we are soulmates. I think that we were supposed to be and always will be forever connected. I think that when we were in our 20s and we were creating our children, we thought that soulmate meant that we were going to be in relationship with each other and we were going to build something that looked a little bit more traditional. We do better as friends than we do as sexual intimate partners. And there's no body who can take that particular space that he holds in my life. And it's hard to kind of describe it, but we don't have a desire to be in relationship with each other or anything like that. I think that maybe it becomes toxic when you try to place it in a space that it doesn't belong. So if he and I tried to stay in a sexual intimate relationship, it would have looked like toxicity. But because we realize that we form best as co-parents and as friends first, and then co-parents, then it aligns with how we feel about being each other's soulmates. I want him to have happiness, like you described earlier. I want him to have all the things that he wants. Randomly, we'll send each other a text message like, be great today on purpose. Know that I'm cheering for you all the time. And these are like random messages. And yet, if we try to force a relationship, it would be toxic. So maybe it's that we put our soulmates in positions they're not supposed to be in, because of the flesh and not the alignment with the spirit.
So I think there's a path and a place for that, whatever we're going to call it. But I also think there is a place where we meet these people, thinking of my last situation, where we are very connected, we are very much alike, and we highlight the toxicity, is that a word, in ourselves?
Close enough. Close enough.
In ourselves, and we see that, as you said, back to the foil, we see that in the other person. We like the fire, we like the passion, but connected together, it does not work. And maybe that is misaligned, but maybe that we were supposed to meet each other and have that connection. So when we move into our next spaces, we know how to deal with that and know that while I'm really attracted to that because it looks like me, because it's familiar, I embrace it, I love that part of me, it has a place, it's not what I need to be with. It's not what's going to mate or complement me for the rest of my life.
So I wonder if we even have, it's clear that we don't necessarily have the fullness of an operational definition, right?
Clearly.
Come
on.
But we have a bit more clarity for ourselves, right?
Yeah.
Like what I hear us saying is our soulmate doesn't necessarily have to be our sexual intimate partner. It could be a friend. What I hear us saying is that our soulmate is likely going to bring more light into our life, but will bring some darkness out as well. That there's other things we have to explore when we're thinking about soulmates in terms of our own awareness and the burden that comes with awareness, because awareness isn't always this beautiful light thing,
Yes,
right? Like sometimes
right.
it's a little bit extra that come with that burden. But what else are you guys taking away from soulmate in general?
Yeah, my definition is still a little different. I think the soulmate should be easy and clear.
Okay.
Like I don't think my soulmate should bring out toxic behavior, because I'm not even going to try to say toxicity.
That you just say.
But I said it slowly. Slowly. But I think if anything, they help me see, being the foil, they help me see the parts of me that may be toxic to repair, but not necessarily bringing it out of me in a way that is toxic to the relationship. So there really is, for me in my experience, and some of it is also weighting this experience against past experiences, right? And knowing the difference.
But were those people in the past experience actually your soulmates?
I never called past experiences. No, even the one that the love ran deep. You know, we created a human. The one. Y'all
deep
heard
like
me
a
right.
well.
I said it clearly.
These mics are too much for us.
I know, they really are.
Even the one that you know loved deeply, dearly, truly, I never called them my soulmate.
Yeah.
I believe that our purpose was to create this human being.
Yeah.
It was to create, you know, our daughter. And I am appreciative and thankful, to your point, we'll always have that connection.
Yeah.
Right? We almost grew up together.
True that.
But our purpose wasn't to, you know, run off into the sunset together as soulmates. And I never called him my soulmate. So this really is a first time term that I'm using where I'm like, no, there is a deeper level of fulfillment that, you know, hopeless romantic or not, this is different. This is beyond what
that nobody can feel. And I think that's the interesting thing when I keep thinking about soulmate, is that there's probably a part of your life that soulmate feels that nobody else can feel. And that can happen in friendship.
Yes.
Go ahead,
So
Jay.
that's what I was gonna say. My takeaway is that, again, you're just always connected. It doesn't have to be immediate. It doesn't have to be, you know, you're here, we live in the same city or same state or same world, right? But maybe more so a reference, right? You are, I refer or differ, but, you know, to you. And we have that mutual something that's always there. So there's always this connection. I can always come back to you for whatever it is I need in that moment. And we have that understanding. So that's my takeaway of a soulmate. You know, you might not even think of the soulmate this year.
Yeah.
But then next year,
Oh, no, not me.
you know,
Nikki.
something comes up. I mean, I think there might be different intensities.
Yeah, it
You
is.
know,
It is.
with different
entities.
soulmates for
And
different reasons. So you might have that intensity with the sexual soulmate who serves you in many different ways, and
Come on,
then you
serve.
have that.
Come on, serve me,
Soundbite.
baby.
But then you have those other soulmates
Yeah.
who, you know, made this imprint on this little piece of you that you can never let go.
You can
And,
have
and that's
because
forever.
you can't let it go because you're not supposed to let it go
Correct.
because it's
Right.
part of your
Right.
soul,
Correct.
Because it's part of
right?
who you
Yeah,
are.
and if you're a person that believes in reincarnation, I met this couple a few years ago, and they said we have been together in every season, every reincarnation of our life, and it wasn't always that we were married in every reincarnation. Sometimes one of us was the parent.
Yeah, I was the
Sometimes one of us was the child. Sometimes we were partners. Sometimes we were mothers. Like it was, that goes to parent and child. But it was interesting to think about how they saw themselves
Yeah.
as soulmates and that it shows up in different dynamics every time they come around. But they believe in reincarnation, right?
Yeah.
And I support that as well.
I think in closing, we have to evaluate our beliefs and how we feel and continue to like think about this definition and the difference between a connection for a moment or a time and a season and for like a lifetime. Yeah. What are you thinking, Yanni?
Yeah, you caught me with the if you believe in reincarnation, or I don't understand it fully, but thinking about being able to connect with this person and then life lessons, I think reincarnation also has to do with the certain lessons that you are supposed to learn, and then when you have learned them all
And fully
so
actualized.
it almost feels like, you know, with a soulmate, it should feel like, okay, this connection is the one that has fulfilled everything. I am at the point now when I reconnect with you in this way, I know that when it's time for me to go, I'm good.
Yeah.
I don't need to be reincarnated anymore. Like it's that deep. Like it's that fulfilling. It could be. I'm just saying it could be.
Well, that also goes to the point of if there's that sounds like there's one person, and if that one person hasn't fully learned, will you come back, right? Because you're their soulmate. So I don't know. Maybe it's a conversation that we get to explore more when we talk about like religion and relationships and all of those things that I know that we're talking about in the future months, right? Because it's season 2 and we got topics for you, baby. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But Yanni, why you gonna go ahead and swallow that drink? Because you want to go to Taboo. That's not a sponsor. Did you have any?
Right.
Not yet. Okay. Tell us what your closing thoughts are, because you brought some other elements as you always do. So some other elements to it as well.
I mean, I want people to recognize in relationships with one another that people are going to be in other relationships with one another. And this is not my plug for polyamory or anything like that.
But it could be.
It could be.
Soundbites.
Yes, sister wives.
Dr. Polly.
But there's a true, like, I want people to understand that. I think sometimes people sabotage relationships
True.
being seated in their own insecurities
True.
around this jealousy.
True.
And it's sometimes it's a relationship you can't articulate.
Yeah.
You know, like that person is there and, you know, that person will always be there, you know, but that does not affect how I feel about you.
That's right.
Right. And my relationship with you is here. My relationship with that person is there.
That's right.
You know, and if it's like, you know, people might need assurances about, no, we're not having sex.
But we could, no,
we're not.
but we can't.
We're-
Okay,
no,
sorry about that.
currently,
Okay.
we are not having sex. Or,
But we might
To
watch.
whom are you
Right.
speaking?
right, exactly.
I'm sorry, I got it.
But you know, it's that and recognize that they have those relationships too, whether they recognize them or not.
That's right. That's right.
You know, but I want people to recognize those foils, because it's those foils, good and bad, the light and the shadow, that make us evolve into better people.
That's right.
You know, so it's like, stop fighting it so much and kind of just embrace
That light
it.
and that shadow.
Get the
That's
flow.
right. Yo, we really said we were going to talk about like 2 things, and then we kind of like wrapped them into like one thing and went in and out. And I just think that's the flow of being like women in
Grown-ass
general
women.
and then grown ass women. So
Yeah.
I love that this was our very first in-person podcast recording October 2022. I'm empty, but okay, let me do like this.
I've been trying to say this last swallow, and I probably don't even
Go
need
ahead and
anymore. 'Cause
swallow.
I'm like, am I tipsy?
ladies.
Can anybody hear me?
So one of the things we forgot to do is a quick introduction, right? Like everybody sees us on screen, so we forgot to name ourselves and something about ourselves. And then I think since it's October, we have 2 October birthdays. We have both Nikki, which is at the mid-October piece, and then Ayana a little bit after that in that mid-October. So we have our Libra and our Scorpio represented in our
Gotta love
grown-ass women.
Yeah.
But let's go around real quick as we close out to just say a little bit about our name and who we are. Just again, anything fun, fancy, whatever.
Are we in the camera?
Oh yeah. Oh, are we in the camera?
Oh,
Am I
okay, that
talking
right
to you
there.
guys? What are we
Oh,
doing? What shall we do?
talk to us.
Okay.
Talk to me, baby.
Talk to me. Hello, everyone. Hey, y'all.
Hey,
girl.
I'm Jonai Carr.
Come on now.
Vroom, vroom. What can I say? I think I'm a quiet one of the bunch. Well, I guess it's between me and Ayana, probably.
Wait,
Maybe.
what?
Wait, what?
No?
What is happening
Where?
here?
Never mind. Stand by.
Right, yeah.
Flag on the play.
Flag on the play. Edit.
No, I think I'm mild. Maybe I'll say that. No? Yeah? Can y'all agree?
To whom?
No? Okay.
You breathe fire
In your
too.
mind.
Moving on.
Because we
Moving
know
fire
you.
too.
Okay. I can be fiery. I can be mild. I heard someone call me the voice of reason.
You are grounded.
All right.
I do think you're grounded.
You're a big hug.
I'm a big
And a
hug
human.
is what what Dee said.
Yeah.
I'm learning. I'm growing.
Yeah.
I work for the government. I'm married. I don't have any kids, but hopefully one day.
Come on now.
And I try to present as light and love.
Yeah.
So
Come on, light and
that
love.
is me.
The big
Namaste.
Come on, Jay. We love you, baby.
Thank you. Love you.
Yeah. I guess that leads to me. I am Dee. I am the sultry, sometimes quiet, depending on when you catch me. And if I want you to know that I am in the room. Sometimes you might not know I'm there. Sometimes I'm going to be the only thing you see.
Oh, so true. Oh my God.
Come on. Very true.
Depends on how I feel. I am also work for the government. I am a coach for Kennedy Dean Coaching.
Come on
go.
now.
Sound
Come
bite.
on now.
Yes,
Right.
yes. I am a lover of people, happy, healthy, trying to be spirit,
Yeah.
and I'm just glad to be here with,
Yes.
with my soulmates.
Come on, soulmates. Come on, soulmates.
Oh, it's my turn. Okay. I'm Nikki.
Come on,
I
Nikki.
I am Nikki Wood. I will be Nikki Wood till the day I die.
If you know, you know.
If you know, you know.
Soundbite. I will. You know, I am truly that. I think that I am the person that you will feel when you enter the room. And you'll probably feel me before you see me. Because I am air, and you will experience that. I value.
I'm laughing because I thought you would have said, because you need me to live. That sounds like something you would say.
Some of you. But you know, it's I am a lot of things, dependent upon the relationship. To those that are my soulmates,
Yeah.
you will experience every part of me.
Yeah.
And I am multifaceted and can be mysterious, but if you know me, you really know me.
Yeah.
I live with love that sometimes needs to be grounded by my soulmates.
Yeah.
But you know, I am me. There's a lot of things. I like taking pictures.
Yeah.
I like challenges. A few too many.
Drinking water, gallons of it.
And I have a beautiful, beautiful 13-year-old daughter.
Baby
Come
J.
on, baby J.
Baby J. She is my
We're going to be calling Baby J.
Baby J.
at 30.
Yeah.
We're going to be at the wedding. Like, baby.
Yeah. She is my baby ninja reborn.
Yes.
She is my younger self in human form.
Yes.
Pray for me. But she's great. So again, because I'm air, I'm everywhere. So there's not really too much other adjectives that I'm going to give besides that one, because that's where I will land, where you need to breathe. So.
Hey, Nikki.
Hey, girl.
Well, I will borrow a page from Nikki. I am Ayana, and I am another element of which you don't have, you won't live. I am water.
Hey.
You can only live for so long without water. I flow. I flow. I am adventure.
Yes.
I personify adventure. I'm in education. I'm an educator. I like to teach and I like to learn. I have a 5-year-old. I am a geriatric mother, as they call me.
Stop it.
Woman of a particular age.
Flag on the plane.
No,
Woman
it's-
of particular age.
No, they say in the chart it's a geriatric.
True.
does.
True. After 35, you are
With a G? Look, with a G.
Geriatric.
Hey, Nayan.
And
Hello.
Nayan, who I would like to say is my soulmate. He
Oh.
reflects,
Oh,
like
wow.
Nayan reflects me in good and bad.
Yes.
Which makes me think sometimes we can be toxic. He's 5-year-old toxic. But he also reflects the good in terms of learning to live and laugh and just joy for joy's sake.
Yeah.
I also truly believe in the connectedness of souls and having those reflections and cultivating them. What else can I say? Again, water is tenacious. It always breaks through. It always flows.
Come on.
It never stops. It's fresh. It's clean. It's clear.
This is
Yeah.
going
Much
to be
like
all
me.
This is the sound bite. Right. This is the
Somebody
sound
fill up my
bite.
cup, please.
There, you fill up your cup.
The Scorpio
What is
in
our
you.
challenge? What do you drink a gallon of every day, ladies? Water.
It
Water.
flows quickly.
It flows. It comes in. It goes
In
out.
and out.
Okay, clear. All right. I'm done.
Yeah, you guys are
Right.
nasty asses. At some point, it was not about water of the
It
earth
was
anymore.
about water.
Wait
I
for
don't
the tip
mess
of the
with
day.
you.
It
You
was
don't mess
about
with me.
water.
I'm breaking up from all of you guys. Absolutely.
I keep
Mine-
clicking on the mic.
My name is Dr. LaNail Plummer. I take that doctor quite seriously because there's very few Black women doctors out here, and we've earned this. So I love when I get to say Dr. Plummer. I am LaNail, right? I am Nene. I am La. I'm all of those things. right?
Apostrophe.
I am a vessel of God. I think that I pray on that for God to consistently use me as a vessel to fill me up and to tell me where to pour and how to pour. And my friends recently told me I am yin and yang, and I think that's true, right? Like I'm yin and yang. So whatever people need, I'm probably gonna be able to support. I'm a Virgo, if you can't tell. I'm earthy, I'm grounded, I'm all those kind of crazy things. And sometimes I don't even like those things in myself. Sometimes I'm like, bitch, you are too grounded in this moment. Flow, bitch, flow.
Just go with it.
Fire, light it up.
Relax.
Right? Which
Shake it
makes
out.
sense that my best friends are all the other elements. I got fire with me, and I got air with me, I got water with me because I need you all.
Breathe.
So I think that's it, y'all. That's who I am. That's who we are. We are the grown ass motherfucking women. In our little thing, it just says grown women, grown ass women. But at some point, we should add that motherfucking.
I agree.
So we closing up October right here, right?
Yes.
And let's do this, right? Like so excited about season 2. We hit the platforms, right?
Yeah.
We said we did what we said we were gonna do. So we
Yes, we
out
did.
here. And while there are other podcasts called Grown Ass Women, ain't none like this.
That
You know what I'm
part.
saying?
Yeah, that part.
Okay.
We said what we said.
So I think that's it, ladies. Y'all ready to close down?
Yeah.
Let's close down
Oh,
then.
do we have
All right.
our
To Tip of the day.
Tip of
Tip of the day. Give us our tip. Give us our tip.
Tip of the day.
Well, I don't know what your tip.
I'm nervous.
I know.
Tip of the day.
Right. Tip of the day. Tip that everybody can apply.
Okay,
Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen.
Okay.
If you are with your soulmates, please use the warm rag at the end.
Oh God.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye. For further questions, contact grown ass women.
All right.